President Obama spoke at a memorial in Dallas yesterday. Today, he will meet with law enforcement and activists at the White House. He is trying to repair growing tensions between police and minorities. Marc Morial, president of the National Urban League and a former mayor of New Orleans, is in Washington and joins us now. Good to see you again, Marc.
Good morning.
So from your role and experience in the National Urban League, should we just expect talks from these meetings, or can we expect to see some real action?
I'd be disappointed if it was only a conversation, because what's needed now is action. And I think if police chiefs, mayors, civil rights activists are around the table with the president, I think there's an opportunity to discuss the steps we need to take to build trust and to reform policing policies in cities across the nation. The police-community relations are the touchstone of a broader set of issues that we face in this nation when it comes to race, when it comes to distrust, and when it comes to our need to try to unify the nation. So today, I'm excited about the chance to have a conversation, but understanding that the backdrop of funerals in Dallas, funerals on Friday in Baton Rouge, the death and the pain that we are experiencing as a nation requires us to go beyond talk and to act. And if we can come out of the meeting prepared to take some concrete steps, prepared to confront the need to reform policing in many communities across the nation, to confront the broken nature of our criminal justice system, and to have a conversation which confronts race but says let's have tolerance and understanding instead, then I think today can be a very good step. The president, I believe, has putting a tremendous amount of effort into not only today's dialogue, but to produce and promote an ongoing dialogue. What I do hope also is that in local communities, that mayors and governors, community leaders at the local level will pick up the mantle, hold town halls, bring people together, have the frank conversation, discuss whether the police agencies and the law enforcement agencies in that community need to change for the better, need to reform themselves to build the kind of trust that we all want to see.
Marc, speaking of pain and trust, a lot of emotion coming from Cameron Sterling. Speaking at the place where his father died last week, we heard him call for only peaceful protests. Are these demonstrations the key to ultimate change in the criminal justice system? You just mentioned how community meetings would also help, and town hall meetings. Which one would be better, or are they both imperative?
I think the right of people to peacefully assemble, and I underscore peacefully assemble, is part of the tradition in the work and the fight for justice in this country. But I believe that we should follow the spirit of this young man who says that these protests should be peaceful and should remain peaceful and remain focused on highlighting the challenges and trying to help build will to bring about the kind of change that we need. Peaceful protests in the 1960s helped to transform this nation in a profound way. Peaceful protests in the 21st century, I think, provide to people an opportunity to participate in the civic process. But we do not, as the National Urban League, and I think I say this on behalf of all of this nation's civil rights leaders, do not support, endorse violence, because what happens is it breeds distrust and people can get hurt.
Marc, the Sterling family and their attorney also emphasized the need for transparency from the Baton Rouge Police Department. We haven't heard much from investigators since the shooting happened, partly because we understand the FBI is involved. But as a former mayor in New Orleans, can you tell us a bit more about the police department in Baton Rouge, what you know of them, and what you know of the community at large?
Well, you know, Baton Rouge is a city that's gained a tremendous amount of population in the last decade. The post-Katrina population of Baton Rouge increased significantly because of people who evacuated to Baton Rouge and remain there. I have family members who live in Baton Rouge today. Baton Rouge is also a city with a very prosperous south side and a north side, which is mostly African American, that isn't prosperous, that has a lot of poverty. So Baton Rouge, like so many American cities, is also a tale of two cities, but also a city with Louisiana State University, Southern University, along with the seat of state government. So Baton Rouge is a very, very interesting city, and I think it's a city that's worked hard to make progress. But underlying that, you've got a city which is, in many respects, a tale of two cities. Now, the Baton Rouge Police Department, or any police department, or any law enforcement agency conducting this kind of investigation, they've got to balance what I call the instinct around confidentiality with the need to provide periodic updates or make certain evidence public. This way, only this way, will the public have confidence in the investigation. It's a balancing act, but in the age of social media, with press reports that there may be multiple videos available, body cam videos, videos from the surveillance cameras at the convenience store where the death took place. I think that the law enforcement agencies have to consider whether it's best, and I think it is, when to release those videos and let people have an opportunity to see. Remember, in Chicago, because the video was held under questionable circumstances, it breeded a great deal of distrust. So law enforcement has to balance this, but I also think that transparency is important. We are in a time of increased need and also increased public outcry for transparency, because transparency also helps to breed trust.
All right, Marc Morial, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.